Dear lovers, this is the real life Cupid, and you're here with Wrestling with Entertainment. Love, Doug.
And we are wrestling with NXT Takeover Stand and Deliver. Night 1 and 2 review. It was Wednesday and Thursday, so 2 days ago. Um, and it's first time NXT's ever done a 2 night show. How do you think that they how do you think they dealt with having a 2 night show rather than the one that they always do?
I think it I think it ended up working well. We had some initial doubts about maybe putting one of the two matches billed as co-main events from night 2 into night 1 to maybe balance it out a little more, but it ended up working really well. A absolutely solid performance from everybody involved uh, on both nights, and it it's things are looking bright for NXT as they take their place on Tuesday nights as part of the 5 nights of wrestling schedule.
And 2 on Fight. Right. Let's get into it. The first match on the actual show was Pete Dunne versus he defeated Kushida. Probably NXT's two of the best in the world, Pete Dunne and Kushida. I'm a little disappointed Kushida didn't actually win this match. I mean, he's going 1 and 2 at takeovers at this point. It seems like
Yeah,
they're giving him more of the Sonata push rather than the Nakamura push.
and yeah, I mean, it seems we find ourselves saying, "God, if every time that they don't give Kushida a win now, he's screwed at this point." And I mean, at this point, I don't know if Kishida's just complacent in his position and just likes being there. And if that's so, good for him. But I don't know if I honestly have doubts if there's any real intention to make anything more of Kushida at this point.
You kind of think that it's like the how Nakamura felt when he moved to the main roster. He's in America. He's enjoying life. Um, that doesn't seem like the narrative when I knew Kushida from his New Japan days. He was very competitive. Maybe things have changed since then. I don't know.
I mean, it's very possible he could have ended up making out the enchantment under the sea dance with his mother. I
Possibly.
mean, I mean, at this point, I expect Kushida to kind of almost fade out like the picture in Back to the Future. But I will say this: it. I think I think they may move Kushida. I think they might move Kushida up.
To the main roster?
Yeah, and I think they probably will do something with him and Nakamura.
Interesting. wonder if that will actually be the case. Bronson Reed won the Gauntlet Eliminator match. I believe it was last week on the show. We were talking about how this had to be Dexter Lumis. This was his match to win. It turns out it was his to lose. Um, what happened here? I mean, it feels like Reed was kind of in a position to have the North American Championship maybe this time last year, but that kind of didn't happen because of, Corona and whatnot. Do you think this was kind of NXT's way to make good on that promise? Or just this was a swerve, bro?
I think they're testing I think they're really testing the waters with Bronson Reed. I think they really want somebody with the skill and agility of somebody like Bam Bam Bigelow, Vader, who's that big and can move in the ring. I mean, and the reaction for Reed was incredibly, positive and like it was unexpected. That's probably what I liked the most. And having Reed win it probably didn't make a lot of people immediately go, "Oh, great. I don't want to see Reed versus Gargano."
No,
It made them go, "Ooh,
new
this could
blood.
be interesting."
And of course, we'll talk about that match on night two. But this, you think Bronson Reed delivered what he needed to show NXT that he got the goods?
Oh, yes, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Next match, United Kingdom Championship match. Walter defeated Tommaso Ciampa. Probably the best match on both nights. Um, oh my god, this was an incredible match. Walter's so good, Ciampa's so good.
Yeah, and it only went 17 minutes. It felt like a lot longer.
And those are kind of the best matches, aren't they?
Yes. Oh, without a doubt. And there there was a lot of there was a lot of like, and yes, we noticed this in night two mostly, but there was a lot of almost like callbacks to other previous matches throughout history and whatnot, and it like they went through how Walter originally won the United Kingdom Championship, um, and the fact that we saw Walter probably the most vulnerable he's ever been.
Especially how dangerous the Psycho Killer is.
But that's just it. He really wasn't the psycho killer. Qu'est-ce que c'est?
I get what you
Champa,
mean, but
yeah.
I think that was the closest version of the Psycho Killer we've seen since he's came back.
So kind of like Psycho Dad, Psycho Dad.
Yeah, kind of like that. So, do you see this going further, or was this a one-off?
more than likely a one-off. Um, I'm not sure if the WWE knows what its future plans for the United Kingdom Championship is, aside from it returning to NXT UK.
Fair enough. MSK, Wesley, and Nash Carter defeated Bridge of Young Veterans, and Legado del Fantasma to win uh, the triple threat match to win the vacant NXT Tag Team Championships. They are strapping the rocket to these guys' asses, aren't they?
Well, without a doubt, I mean, usually for new talent, there's almost an expectation of initiation, and no, not with MSK. They immediately, they bring them in after signing them. They give them the Dusty Cup, and then now they're the NXT Tag Team Champions.
Yeah,
They are in the top three of quickest, shortest amount of time to their first title reign after debuting.
that's incredible. It makes you wonder what may have been if Trey stayed with them and signed too.
Well, that just seems like an XXXL problem.
Next, next matchup, the main event of night one, Raquel Gonzalez defeated NXT Women's Champion Io Shirai to win the title. We've kind of gone back and forward with this. We kind of knew Raquel was going to win, um, but it's still, too early to see if she was technically ready to win that championship. What say you, Scooter?
I mean, we expected this, the Diesel push, especially, after the whole big mommy cool thing. You, Funny enough, aside from the opening match, this was the second shortest match of the night. And
Probably due in part to Raquel's greenness.
yes, but at the same time, also probably Raquel's best performance, notwithstanding the fact that Dakota Kai got caught interfering, and therefore it should have been a disqualification
Oh, without a doubt.
right then
I
and
mean,
there.
signing red flag number one.
But is it Raquel's improvement, or is it Io's compatibility to work with anybody and get a good match out of them?
I take the latter. That being said, I see Io going to the main roster, possibly SmackDown. I think she kind of conquered everything in NXT, and it's kind of time to see what's out there for her on the main roster.
Just as long as we don't get Kabuki Warriors 2.0.
Oh God, no. Your thoughts on Sarai maybe possibly going to the main roster?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. The women's division really does need a bit of a
Fresh coat of paint.
an injection, an infusion of fresh blood, and EO would definitely add to that.
For sure. On to uh, talking about night one on its own standalone. I don't think it's a question of a thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle. On a scale to 1 and 100, what would you give this show?
A scale of 1 to 100.
Yeah,
Uh,
percentage.
I would probably give it somewhere around 75 to 80%.
Hmm.
Pete Dunne Kushida could have gone a lot longer. I mean, but other than that, I mean, this was this was a takeover. Night one was a takeover that was a typical episode of NXT presented as a takeover.
True. I honestly would go 90%. I didn't really see an issue with anything I saw. Maybe, maybe even though it was Raquel's best match, maybe not the best match overall. But, I think the undercard really well made up for that. I mean, the Gauntlet Eliminator matches like that are usually clusterfucks, and I didn't see that in that match. I saw, good storytelling. So I think everything kind of aligned for that show. So that's why I gave it a 90%. On to night two, which was exclusively on Peacock. Uh, Santos Escobar defeated Jordan Devlin in a ladder match to become the undisputed NXT Cruiserweight Champion. Um, Great match. Escobar maybe a little bit underrated. Hopefully that's not the case going further.
It seems like there really should be more in the future for Escobar in terms of, you know, I really hope he doesn't get shoehorned into being known as, just the cruiserweight champion, because he definitely could do more, and this proved that he could probably be higher up the card and deliver just as well.
Absolutely. What do you think about Devlin? Where does he go after this?
I believe they're pushing Devlin to be Walter's next challenger in NXT UK. I believe. Unfortunately, I don't pay that much attention to NXT UK. I
That's what I was just about to say. If it happens on NXT UK in the woods, does anybody see it?
Takeover into the woods. Um, I mean, you also have to remember there was also an NXT UK event that was technically taped that aired 5 hours before night one.
No, Scooter. If Walter got on the plane, he got on a red eye, he quarantined, and then he was able to be in Tampa for that event.
Well, I mean, since the Prelude had an NXT UK title match, I don't know. Maybe Walter is leaping from body to body, hoping that the next leap will be the leap home.
Possibly. Next match, Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon defeated Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae to retain the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships. Kind of seemed like this was kind of drawn on the show, but I think it was maybe the best match that they've had so far.
Yeah, I don't think there's any other way to say that. Quite honestly, I mean.
Well done. And next match up after that, Johnny Gargano defeated Bronson Reed to retain the NXT North American Championship. In short, Kaliko soundbite, I told y'all. Johnny Wrestling, Johnny Takeover.
I told y'all.
Yeah. Maybe one of maybe one of the best reasons not to have him on this show. But he'll tell me after the fact anyway. But yeah, Johnny Takeover actually won a takeover match. Who freaking knew?
I mean, and this was no small feat on Reed's part either, because this was a hell of a performance from Bronson Reed.
Oh, without a doubt.
Guy pulled out a moonsault.
Yes, and a cartwheel.
Well, he always does the cartwheel.
But it's still impressive. I mean, he's a big guy.
Yes, there are a lot of big guys that can do a cartwheel. Not a lot of big guys can do a moonsault anymore. And I believe that was the first time he actually tried the moonsault.
I'm glad it didn't end up like Brock Lesnar's
Shooting star.
what was it called?
Shooting
Star
press.
Press. Yeah. Next matchup, NXT Championship match. Karrion Kross defeated Finn Balor to become the new champion. Interesting match. How would you describe it, Scooter?
I think how would I describe it? The Prince maybe got a little too complacent as champion and kind of left out that little extra spark, that demonic instinct that probably could have led to him retaining. But like Karrion Kross does, he made Finn Balor into literal Karrion, as Kross picked the bones clean and won the title back that he never lost.
Which is something NXT doesn't normally do. Do you think that Karrion is going to get a lengthy run now, or do you think they'll just wait they're setting him up to lose to the next top babyface.
I think we're going to see a lengthy run from Carrion. Eh,
Alright. One thing that it was worth mentioning is the the chanting from Scarlet. Almost,
Yeah,
and we talked about it on the remix. It was kind of like a voodoo chant, so to speak, that kind of gave him that extra boost to actually win the match.
yeah, and noticing, you know, I don't know how many people paid attention to it, but I brought attention to it. All of Scarlett's nuanced movements at ringside. That when Cross was in control, she was standing there and just being Scarlett. But when Finn Balor was on offense, her movements were a little bit more grand, a little bit more not exactly attention seeking, but deliberate in the attempt that it was apparent that Scarlett was trying to imbue Karrion Cross with some sort of extra power, extra ability. Who knows? But it's something that if you're not a wrestler and if you're not an actor, you probably wouldn't have picked up on it.
Oh, without a doubt. If he wasn't paying attention to every little detail. And that brings it. I mean, it's you could kind of say that's kind of hokey, hocus pocus garbage. But keep in mind that they do have an ancient dragon lady that committed murder on the roster as well.
Who's 1,000 years old. So she's the oldest woman alive. No,
I thought she was 2,000 years old.
2,000, fine. I guess that would make her the first millennial.
And that brings us to our main event of the whole shebang. Kyle O'Reilly defeated Adam Cole in an unsanctioned match. Very different from the Ciampa Walter match, but probably the only thing that could come close to it. No, Scooter?
Without a doubt, 40 minutes of
It did not seem
un,
that long.
unbridled carnage. And not only that, unbridled carnage chock full of Easter eggs.
A week after Easter.
Like, you called attention to the Axe and Smash jacket. And the Axe and Smash was a move O'Reilly hit on Cole during their Wrestle Kingdom match in 2017. The chains coming into play a great deal.
Which was another finish of one of their old matches.
This was almost as if this was the fourth movie in a series that was originally supposed to be a trilogy. In
The
that,
the end game.
not necessarily the end game, but a horror trilogy that where they go through the where the ending to the previous one is now the false ending,
I see.
and it turns into a whole new, unexpected endings. This is explained a lot better if you if you watch Scream 4. Not a reboot.
I saw a Scary Movie 4. Does that count?
Go to your room. Just go to your
I am in my
room.
room.
No, this
Just check
was
under the bed. You're not there.
this was knockdown, drag out, match of the year. And if Pro Wrestling Illustrated doesn't see that, you know what? I think we've got a magazine to burn down.
Pro Wrestling Illustrated, I think Dave Meltzer in general, if he gave Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa a 10 stars for their lights out match, this should have been a 20-star one. Just considering all the history that they had going into the match before they did it.
Yeah. Without a doubt, this was. And I even said this is when the time comes to induct an NXT match into the Wrestling With Hall of Fame. This is going to be my first choice.
That's a big compliment to both of these guys. So, that being said, how would you rate Night 2 on a scale from 1 to 100?
99.9%. And I take off 0.1% because I really wanted to see Shotzi Blackheart's tank malfunction and just keep going in circles.
I give it an 89. I thought Night 1 was better. I thought that, just from a pure wrestling standpoint, which I prefer, that made it all for me. Night 2 was more of the gimmick matches, so to speak. But what say you, Scooter? Do you feel Night 1 was better or Night 2?
Night 2. And I have Meltzer's ratings in front of me. And son of a bitch doesn't go higher than 4.5.
Am I going to see you in California soon?
You might see me on wanted posters soon for questioning the disappearance of Dave Meltzer.
Well, keep in mind he is here, so in California, so yeah. Yeah, Uncle Dave. That being said, overall, Night 1, Night 2, everything as a whole, it kind of seemed like everything fit the way that it was supposed to be and kind of be what fans wanted. No, Scooter?
Without a doubt.
Now the question is, with WrestleMania only a few hours away, will it stand and deliver like NXT did.
Time will tell. Time will tell.
Alright, and that'll conclude our coverage of NXT Stand and Deliver review, night 1 and 2. If you like what we're doing, please like, subscribe, comment, both on YouTube and Castbox. Catch us this Wednesday as we interview Von Vertigo. If you want to hear us before that, WrestleMania is a couple hours away. How should people listen to it, Scooter?
Only on the remix. UMB Sports 2 kicking off at maybe 7, maybe 8. Graphics says 7. We might just say screw it, just go out at 8. But listen to it on the remix, only on UMB Sports 2.
And you can find everything Wrestling with Wrestling with Entertainment on our official Twitter page, news going on, new interviews coming up, the links to those interviews at Wrestling with E. You can find us all individually. I'm at JamesJ993. Where can they find Scooter?
Of course, you can find me performing your colonoscopy, and you can find me on Twitter at Scooter Dustin, holding down for the UMB network at UMBS Wrestling.
And of course, you can find Kaliko at I Am Kaliko. Don't forget to, if you see a guy in a white and red WrestleMania jersey, take a picture of him. Send it on Wrestling with E. You might get something.
Yes, I'll tell you what. If anybody out there listening can provide us with a picture of Kaliko in the crowd at WrestleMania, they will earn 3 free months of Peacock.
Ooh.
Courtesy of me.
For Kaliko Yacht Scooter Dust, I'm James J, and this has been Wrestling with Entertainment.
I told y'all so.
Hey folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show, support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.